Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a great day. We for sure had an interesting trading day to end the week as we had another hotter than expected inflation data report that was released. We'll be talking about this quickly. And with the kind of macroeconomic shift that we've seen, it was actually a little bit of a decline and closing slightly in the red today. This could be interesting, especially as we enter the trading holiday with that extended day. What are we going to be doing on Monday without trading? Palantir is at an interesting area. And if we zoom in here, closing in at 24.44, actually holding at a support zone in these mid-20s stronger than I thought it was going to be. We're going to be getting into the details why that's in my opinion. And if you are a new or a returning viewer, thank you guys so much for watching, supporting a smaller content creator. Hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. So what we get in terms of the market today is the actual stocks. They kind of end this turbulent week after we see another hot inflation report. And what this inflation report was a gauge I was measuring was the wholesale inflation. This actually jumped 0.3% in January from the prior month compared to the 0.1% rise by economics. And what we did see in terms of the actual global market perspective, looking at the indexes here, down about 0.5% on average for the big indexes, S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ. Well, you see Palantir down about 3.8%. And in these midst of the 20s, Palantir has not had a ton of trading history in recent times within these price zones. So being able to hold at the mid-24s, especially after the growth that Palantir has experienced after those Q4 earnings that were released, is pretty surprising and keeping me bullish on this. Now, if this continues on, if we have to wait till next Tuesday for some stock trading, Palantir could be testing, you see right here, a micro kind of level of support. I don't want to call this a critical or foundational level yet, as it's still premature in its actual support formation and actually kind of created a foundation and a baseline. But the 23s, kind of high 23s are here at that 24. That could be a support zone as we look in towards the future right here. Nonetheless, if we toggle over to the options, what you're seeing for Palantir is actually for the expirations for end of next week, February 16th, a good amount of call volume. And that was interesting to me, especially with the uncertainty that we saw with the inflation report that was reported. You can see here, 39,000 at the $25 strike price, and even up here at the $26 strike price, still over 10,000. Not a ton of puts looking into next week. So bullish investors, that's the perspective that they're taking in terms of the options market. Now, what we do have is volume is sitting around 65 million, sitting around its actual average raw volume now, which is right now at 70 million. And as we toggle over, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest things and the biggest criticisms for Palantir we talked about many times before. You guys can probably guess it's its valuation. But however, some of the reasons why I think this gauge for this high valuation for the future expectations of great earnings, that's what a lot of investors are betting on right now, hence the high valuation, why a lot of people are paying a premium, why this may be justified. And there's a great Seeking Alpha article here that talks about how Palantir doesn't need heroics to justify its high valuation. And if we specifically look on one of the main kind of counterpoints and catalysts for this is that Palantir's profitability should be able to grow into its high valuation. They say here within 5 years as its top line even grows at a modest rate, and that the stock could climb to basically $48 to $72 if the company growth re-accelerates. Now, in terms of that, slow and steady growth, I think is important for Palantir. We've seen sometimes these high moments of volatility, especially here after the earnings, a great earnings, okay, nonetheless to say, but however, being able to have that slow and steady growth does help decrease those insane volatile areas, and also help build more of a linear kind of foundation and correlated type of price targets to what's actually happening in terms of the business. And one of the best things that I do see with Palantir that we talked about before is its tailwinds. Now let's take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Seeking Alpha. And as you guys have probably seen, I actually utilize Seeking Alpha on a daily basis to conduct all my research and to create content for you guys in the most non-biased approach that I can possible. And what I love about Seeking Alpha, and as we've particularly been looking at Palantir within the last few months, is that their data analytics gives me nearly any piece of information that I want to know about a particular stock. And this goes across the board for thousands of different stocks. You get exclusive access to things like earnings transcripts. You also get the bullish and the bearish perspective with many different analysts here, so that way you guys can actually formulate your own opinions and take your own positions on a particular stock. I really like Seeking Alpha because any information that I need, I can get it on there. So if you want access to this kind of data, make sure you check out my affiliate link down below. You get 20% off using that link, and that comes with a free 7-day trial. Check out the link, and I don't think you guys will be disappointed. Back to the video. In getting back to some of those tailwinds right here, one of the big things that we do talk about is the commercial business starting to see that accelerated growth. And I really do think this is one of the best things for Palantir, especially as they take their deep dive into the private sector. Specifically looking here at this Forbes article, you can see just some of these bar charts here showing the actual power and how the actual accomplishment of last quarter can affect for 2024. You see here 70% for that commercial revenue trends is one of the best that they've had in terms of the last few years here. And if we scroll down here, commercial revenue over the board up 32% year-over-year growth at 284 million. And if we continue, you can see the commercial customer account is also a big key catalyst. Now, one big thing that I did want to talk about that is not been noted across a lot of the areas that I've seen in the media reporting Palantir is their actual net retention rate. It's great to see that these customers are coming to the table. We're seeing customers grow. We're seeing revenue on the commercial side growing basically in correlation with that. However, are the customers going to stay? And that's why this net retention rate is really important to stay focused on. Now, they had reported a net retention rate of 108% in quarter 4, but noted that it does not fully yet capture the acceleration in the US commercial business. So that last quarter with that 70% increase, this is not captured right now in the net retention rate, and it's even over 100% as we speak, since customers acquired over the last 12 months are not reflected in the calculation, in that the majority of the net customers have come in the last 2 quarters. And this is suggesting that the net, or the NRR will be higher than 108% coming at the end of the fiscal year of 24. With that, we could see more bullish momentum, buying pressure, and especially as this AI demand continues to soar across the market. And what we've seen, the valuation for PLTR could easily go higher. So for those of you that are very value oriented in the terms of the stock that you're picking, Palantir may not be the best bet for you, because what I see personally, my own opinion, is that Palantir is likely going to be trading on a high valuation for some time. And that's just because of the bullish bet. You have the AI demand that's behind it that people are putting behind Palantir, and basically the justification for what those future revenue expectations and reports in those quarter earnings reports are going to be. Everybody thinks that this company is going to continue to grow, therefore valuation will likely stay high. And it's interesting to see here, if you see on Seeking Alpha, the factor grades. Palantir gets an A, a grade of A for growth, probability, momentum, revisions. The only F that it gets is its valuation. In tech-heavy stocks, this typically is a commonality that we've seen. And with more even tech AI focused like stocks, there is a decent amount of speculation behind that area in general. So we'll see what happens. Let me know, what do you guys think down in the comments? Do you think AIP, do you think the net retention rate is going to be a key catalyst for Palantir's growth into 2024? And do you think Palantir will be able to hold in these mid-20s if there was going to be any type of a pullback in the macroeconomic situation? Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.